Christ. Mike. Hey guys, let's try this again. I'm on the side of the road because GoPro buttons are hard to push, I guess. And I don't know if you noticed, but I don't have rearview mirrors, so I can't just kind of bend it and look at it like I used to on the R6. So, story time. Story time. Story time. Alright guys, so I'm going to give you guys the lowdown on what's been going on these past couple days. And it's a long, drawn-out story. If you don't want to hear an awesome fucking story, click off. But if you do want to hear an awesome fucking story, stay clicked. So, if you're watching this video, hopefully you saw the previous video, Honda 919 trade, don't make me do it. And that one was kind of the baseline that everything of the shit that was going to start rolling downhill. So, we'll start it all off by me wanting to buy my wife a bike. The goal was to get her a Grom. Groms are famous. Everybody watches YouTube videos with Groms. I can make some videos on a Grom, and it sounded great. My GoPro is loose. Okay, let's tighten you up real quick. Alright, now you're tight. And so I was going to make some Grom videos, whatever, you know, just put a bunch of shit out. And that was the goal. So I put my Honda 919 up for trade / sell on Craigslist for a Honda Grom. And had a guy text me. He said, hey, would you trade for a 2006 RMZ 450? And I'm like, even if I don't get a Grom, RMZ is a good deal for me. I could get an RMZ, I can do stuff to it, I could supermoto it, I could like mods, blah, 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 I could build on top of it. So I'm like, you know what, let's do it. So I'm sitting there and then I see an XT225. Insert picture here. So the XT225 is like a short dual sport. That's, for lack of a better words, that's what it is. It's a short dual sport. Fun bike, good to, you know, good to ride for women. Small inseam women can ride it. So I'm like, you know what? Let me text that dude. I said, hey, will you trade for a 2006 Honda 919? And he was like, nah, dude, I'm trying to stay dirt. I'm not trying to like get on the street anymore, especially not a sport bike. I'm like, all right, no big deal. I was like, but would you be interested in an RMZ 450? And he was like, fuck yeah, I would. I was like, all right, let me come look at your bike. I go over there, I look at his bike, and I explained this in the 919 video. That bike, like, dirt bikes have plastics, engine cases, right? It has everything you need. And well, that bike, from head to toe, was completely scratched. Like, the whole front light, like, everything was super fucking scratched, period. It was super fucking scratched. And I was like, he wants $2,300 for it. I'm like, these XTs go for $25 in like amazing condition. I was like, $200. But I was like, I don't have a bike that looks like shit. So why would I buy my wife a bike that looks like shit? So I'm not gonna do it. It's just that simple. I'm not gonna do it. And so I'm like, nope, not gonna do it. And I was like, fuck it. I'll still get the RMZ plus $500 on top. You know, it's a good trade. Like the 919 is worth more than what I traded it for. But for me, it's about the mods and being able to move, you know, do something with the motorcycle that I wasn't like. The WR is where it's at now, and I don't want to do anything else to it. Full exhaust supermoto, like the 919 was where I wanted it. Full exhaust, like blinkers, you know, handlebars, all that bullshit. It was a good bike, and so, like, I get really bored of bikes after I mod the living shit out of them. I'm that guy that mods it and sells it for half of what it's worth. So, you know, he was getting a good deal on the 919. I was getting an alright deal on the RMZ. It was just kind of like, eh. And so I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'll do it. Coming back to the whole point of the project was to get my wife a bike. So I'm sitting there and I have the RMZ come over. I look at his bike, I'm like, dude, this thing looks sick. Let's do this trade, right? And I forgot to grab the bill of sales from, you know, to print them off. And so I was like, you know what, fuck it, we'll just do it tomorrow. Well, as soon as that dude leaves, the R6 has been up for sale for like, I don't know, 4 or 5 months. And so the R6 was up, and I've had 100 and like a fucking million people text me like, hey, would you take payments? I'm like, no, I'm not a bank. Like, if you can't get credit from the bank, then what do you think that I'm gonna fucking, you know, I'm gonna fucking give you a loan? Like, are you kidding me? No, fuck that. And so I've had people lowball the shit out of me, and people offer me like $1,000, $500, you know, and I don't need to sell the R6. I'm in no rush to sell the R6. I love the R6, so I'm like, you know what, I'm not budging on the price, and I'm not selling it for cheap. Let's go. Can we go? I'm not selling it for cheap, so I'll sell it for the right price, pretty much is what my mentality was and is. So the guy's like, you know what, can I come look at the R6? I was like, dude, I just did, you know, talking to another guy, and I was planning on getting drunk that evening. And it didn't happen. So I was like, yeah, fucking come over. So he comes with his brother, he looks at the R6, he's like, dude, this bike is stupid clean, like, it's fucking amazing. And so I'm like, well, if you want it, let me know, and I can get it to you. Well, come to find out, the dude super wants my bike, so I told him, like, hey, I still have a loan on it at Navy Federal or whatever, and I just told him, I was like, hey, you know, if you want this bike, come meet me at 9 o'clock in the morning at Navy Federal, and they'll have the title shipped to your house. I'll sign it once you get it, and then you can be on your way. He's like, you know what, that's a great idea, let's fucking do it. And so we show up literally that next day at Navy Federal, and we do the trade, or we do the sale. So I make $2,000 on that bike, and he gets a brand new bike and pays off my loan. So I'm like, all right, this is awesome. And so when it comes down to it, I'm like, all right, I got $2,000. And I still don't have a bike for my wife. I was like, fuck it. Let me look on Craigslist. Let me see what there's out there. There's Groms on Craigslist, but for me, it's hard to justify paying like $4,000 for a 125. I just can't do it. Like, that's just too much. Like, I get it, they're new, they're gonna keep their value, but fuck that. Like, it's just not worth it. Like, to me, $4,000 is a lot of money, because I mean, like, I bought my R6 for like, I'm not gonna say, but cheaper than what most of these Groms are going for. And so I'm like, no, like, fuck that. I'm just like, I can't justify that. So I wind up looking on Craigslist for another Grom or another XT225, and I found one. I found one in Farmington, which is about 3 hours north of here. And the dude actually was my wife's dad's friend, and he was selling it for $1,900. So I'm like, okay, cool. We made some money on the R6. We can fucking pretty much just buy this bike outright. Well, I'm thinking about it. I'm like, why would we buy the bike outright when I can get my wife some credit? So I'm like, fuck it, let's get her some credit. So we take a loan out for $1,800, which is what I talked the guy down to. Go out there, get the XT225, and look at it and be like, hell yeah, this is the cleanest XT225 in the fucking world. Insert new picture of XT225. And so I'm like, man, this bike is clean as fuck. And so we pay him. We're like, here, take the check, go to the bank, we'll cash it, we'll get you your money. Like, this bike is fucking clean. So that's what we do. We went to the bank and we went and cashed a check, and we go home. So everything being in motion so far, in those 2 days, we sold the R6, we looked at the RMZ, and the only bike we've really bought was XT225. And so I'm like, okay, well, I still have the 919. The dude still wants to trade me, you know, $500 in a fucking in an RMZ. I was like, fuck it, we'll do it. Like, fuck this, we'll fucking do it. Like, no problem. And so we do. We go. He meets up with me. I have the bill of sales, and we do a trade for an RMZ 450. All right, so everything been said and done. Sold an R6, bought an XT225, traded the 919 for an XT225, or sorry, the RMZ 450. I feel like that guy's following me. Anyway, and so I'm like, this is pretty good deals. We're like, I made some money, you know, $500 on the 919, blah 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 blah. I'm like, you know, this is pretty sick. So I'm like, fuck it. We wake up the next day, right? Or actually, the next day we do the trade for the RMZ in the morning. So I'm like, fuck it. I have Cody Artie Party come over, and we start, you know. If you guys have watched the other videos where the XT225 crashed, that's where we kind of started riding our new bikes. And from there, I was having problems with the RMZ. Like, I could not get it turned on. Like, if you watch the video, you can tell that, like, I'm kicking it and kicking it and kicking it and kicking it and kicking it. Can't get it to turn on. So at the end of the day, I call the dude that I bought it from. I'm like, dude, I thought you sold me a fucking solid RMZ. Like, I cannot get this fucking bike to turn on. I don't know about you guys, but like, my DRZ when I would turn it on to get to the electric start, I would give it a hair amount of gas. Just kind of get that carburetor, you know, the jet spurting, so it fucking worked. Not with that RMZ. If you give it any gas while you're trying to turn it on, it's not going to turn on. So it wound up being that, I guess that was a problem. I haven't ridden it since then. I haven't like taken it out again, got it real nice and hot and tried to kick it back over. But it was still warm in the garage later that evening after I talked to the dude. And I was like, all right, fuck it, I won't touch the gas at all. And so I put my hand like right here on the handguard and I kick it and turn it on first kick. And I'm like, oh shit. Well, that was fucking simple. So hopefully next time I ride the RMZ, it'll be nice and fixed and not have to fucking worry about turning it on. But the plan for the RMZ is to get an enduro kit, right? Like the blinkers, all that bullshit like the WR has, and street legal it through Texas. The only problem that I'm running into is the stator doesn't push enough power to the bike to get all the headlight and everything turned on. There's not many. I think there's only one company that used to build stators for the RMZ, and they don't anymore. So it's just like, I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. Oh, and the RMZ doesn't have a title. I had to VIN check before I traded, so I know it's a clean VIN. But then again, like, it's still gonna cost me a couple fucking dollars to fucking get me street legal or get me a street title, or just get a title in general. And then street legal it from there is still gonna be really fucking hard. But yeah, so all that shit going through, had a really good time, a lot of fun. And it all worked out so far. I'm pretty happy with everything that went down. Yeah guys, if you like my long ass story of bikes, sales, trades, news, olds, appreciate it. Like the channel, give me a like, give me a thumbs up, give me a subscribe. And if you have any questions on anything bike related, I know I'm getting a lot of more comments. Hopefully, I saw some comments on the 919 thing, and people are watching videos. People are watching the videos that I'm putting out, so I appreciate it. Like the comments, like I normally reply with comments as soon as I fucking can, like as fast as I can. I'll reply to my comments because you guys want to see, like, you know, responses from the creator, and I get that. So hopefully you guys like the video, and we'll see you guys later. See you guys around the block later, haters.